Nintendo oftentimes has innovated and re-innovated the gaming industry, with some of the best home and portable systems plus a long line of stellar games in their back catalog. They've etched themselves in history as one of the best companies in gaming. From time to time, when they do come out with a console or handheld system, you may find an alternate version of it down the line. Best example would be the Game Boy line when they shrunk it down to fit in your pocket, then added color and so on, as well as the DS line when they made it intelligent and then added 3D to the mix. But it also happened to their first line of portable handhelds, the Game & Watches, when Nintendo decided to release them to the States on their own and started to make the screens just a bit bigger. This was one of those results. It's the widescreen edition of Fire. Originally a part of the Silver series, this went by the name of Fireman when it was first released under Mego. I almost got that, but I actually wanted to have something slightly different when talking about the handheld itself. So this is what I came up with. This version of Fire was released on December 4th, 1981, as the widescreen variant of the game. Not to be confused with the Gold series, as that was the series that preceded it, though it is decked out in the same chemical element. Highlighting the alarm feature, as if we needed a reminder that this would wake me up. The box for this Game & Watch widescreen Fire is thinner than most that I've encountered, for an obvious reason as we'll see in a moment, but along the sides we can find the model number as well as the copyright Nintendo from 1981. I don't really know what the number in the middle is, but that's what the comment section is for. The back of the box advertises more games that are in the widescreen series, all of which were new when introduced, like Octopus, Parachute, Popeye, and Mickey Mouse. Makes you wonder why they brought this game back to be part of it. Must have been really popular. So let's hurry and take it out of the box so we can take a closer look at the GNW itself. This is what we're dealing with, a nice shiny Game & Watch Fire. That makes me sound like an arsonist, I know. For comparison's sake, let's bring in the timeout toss-up or ball to see the differences. As you can see, it's not only a bit taller in height, but the screen is most obviously bigger, and the whole unit itself is wider as well. I can't really tell if it's longer in depth, but I think it is. Might as well point out another obvious difference. This one's red, and the other is blue. Taking a closer look, we have buttons to select. You can choose Game A for a normal game of Fire, Game B for a harder game of Fire, and time to put the screen on an attract mode of sorts as well as display the time. We also have the ACL mini button for you to make sure all the liquid crystal display is up to snuff, as well as the alarm button to set the alarm. Another reminder to you that this is a game as well as a watch. Below we have a left button as well as a right button across from it. Both do exactly what you think they do, move the fireman in that direction, but if you weren't paying attention, you'll see more gameplay in a little while. And you'll have a wider screen to see the action. Nintendo was just really good at naming things, even way back when. On the back is not entirely the normal ordeal. It's true that we have screws, a serial number, and other info that you would usually find on a G&W, but we also have this metallic thingy. This is used when you want to prop your Game & Watch up if you wanted to make it look like a clock on display. Those things usually go missing along with the battery compartment lid, so I'm fortunate mine came with it. Speaking of batteries, this Fire GNW can take 2 LR or SR43 batteries and can last up to 6 months to a year depending on how much you use it for playing. I think most games with a single screen or of smaller stature used a 43, while most others used a 44. But they all produced the same result and had good games to play. This is no different, as the game of Fire is great fun. The object is to try and bounce all the leaping Game & Watch victims to the ambulance across the way from the burning building. There are only 3 spots to move, but the action can get hectic after a while. It's very much one of their best time wasters, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a great game that would work well on today's smartphone. Still waiting for Nintendo to do the obvious and put the whole Game & Watch line as an app. I bet someone has made an app like this to cash in on what the big N is missing. But this widescreen version of the Fire Game & Watch is a fun distraction and probably one of the best simplistic games in the line. Nintendo thought so too, as it was recreated multiple times in the Game & Watch Gallery series and referenced several times in the Smash Bros. Series, much like Ball was. Only reason why I didn't say so in that video was because this wasn't technically a G&W by brand name, but this for sure has Nintendo's name written all over it, or at least in one obvious place. Before anyone asks, yes, I do have the manual, but it isn't worth going over as it's bare with only 4 pages. But it does tell you in text, like I told you with my mouth, how to play this Game & Watch widescreen edition of Fire. For so many years, Nintendo has been dominant in the handheld gaming market, so much so that it seems to be suicide for anybody to compete against them in that market. But as we know, many have tried, including the big competitors of the day like Sega and Atari, who failed miserably. But in the modern day, who between Sony and Microsoft would try to wage war against Nintendo? It shit sure wasn't Microsoft, and on the next episode we'll take a look at how Sony tried to compete with the DS by taking their PlayStation and making it portable. If you think I missed anything, please leave a comment. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you think others could get knowledge out of this, share this video. And if you want to see more, go ahead and subscribe. Now if you'll excuse me, nostalgia is calling.